Hello, my name is Miss Whitlock, and today I'm going to show you how to set up a classroom in the Remind app. The Remind app is a great way for teachers and administration to stay in contact with parents and students throughout the school year. So the first step is to open your web browser, and I already have mine open, so I'm just going to switch over to my Chrome web browser and go to remind.com. Remind also has an app that students and parents can download to their phones and their mobile devices so that they can get messages on there as well. As you can see, it can be set up for school districts, higher education, just teachers, families, if you want to use it in a more personal capacity, and partners for business reasons or collaborative assignments. I already have an account with Remind because I am over the 4-H and public library collaboration for the robotics club. So when I log in, you're going to see my robotics club set up. So if you do not have a Remind app, a Remind account, you can click on sign up here and it'll take you through the steps of setting up your account. I'm going to click login because I already have an account, and I do believe my login information is already saved in the computer, so it should auto-populate for me, and it didn't. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my email address. And my password. And I'm just going to save it because I try to keep it saved in there. So as you can see, I get the nice welcome on the side. It identifies me as A. Whitlock Alexander, and it has my little icon there. The only class that I have set up so far is my St. John 4-H and St. John Parish Library Robotics Club class. And on this main screen, you can see the title of the class, the name for the class if I need to tell someone to go look us up if they just want to go in and type in our name versus typing in the whole St. John 4-H blah 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 when they're searching for the class to add themselves or request to be added. So over here it says my class is on. I have my 4-H class, and then I can create a class right here. So I'm just going to give you a quick look at some of the things I sent out. I had a robotics club meeting last night, and this is the last announcement I sent out over here to the entire group. So I'm going to scroll. I'm going to actually click on it. So if the person clicked on it, they got this image because we actually made 3D tic-tac-toe games at the club to get the kids familiar with the X, Y, and Z coordinate plane, because in math they are studying X and Y coordinates, but I've added that third dimension of the Z plane, the Z axis, and so they were able to see it by building the game first and then playing tic-tac-toe with the rest of the members. And my club is not associated with the school, so if I go to settings, here's the information on my class. It says St. John 4-H and St. John Parish Library Robotics. It has my class code, which is the @ symbol and the short version. And it also has school. Well, since I'm not affiliated with a school anywhere, I just put not affiliated with a school. And this is the setting you would use if you wanted to put just for a family or a group project collaboration type communication setup. So this is basically constant contact for educators and family, and it's free. So that's a great plus. You don't have to sign up for a subscription to use it. So I do have my options here for my class, and I got to this by clicking this little setting symbol over here, and that brought this up, and I put that people in this class can see and message each other. So if one of my parents pulls it up on their phone or their mobile device or their computer at work or at home, they can see everybody that's in the class, and they can send messages to each other. Like maybe one of my students' name is Rita, maybe Rita needs a ride and she contacts her fellow group mate William, and they're like, okay, can you pick Rita up for robotics club meeting this month? And parents and students can also interact with each other through this Remind app setup. So I want to show you some of my other messages I send out. These are some of my messages that I've sent out over the past couple of months, reminders of meetings. I did a poll because some of the kids who are in public school were out for spring break. So I considered moving the meeting time up during the day because the kids were out of school. But I was informed by one of my private school parents that they were not on spring break at the same time. So I put it out there for my parents, all my parents, to kind of comment on, do they, would they be okay with still meeting later in the day like we normally do, which is after everybody's off work and after everybody's out of school. And my parents wrote back and they were like, yes, that's great. I had an incident where I had a lupus flare and I was sick, so I was able to cancel my meeting by sending a message to everybody, and they instantly got it on their phone or their email that they provided. So these are just some of the messages that I sent out. We did marshmallow catapults for one of our meetings, and the kids built these from scratch. And this is the beginning of my message history. So I've had mine since my first meeting, like in November, December, somewhere around there. I set up my Remind app. Okay, so so that you can see a little bit more of how a class looks once you set it up, and then I'll show you how to set up your own class. If I click Files, all of the things that I've uploaded, my images, any documents I had to upload are right here. The poll right here was actually sent as a poll to the parents. You have that option to send that when you send out messages, to send out a poll and they can vote. And you set that up and you'll get your results back in your inbox. All right, and these are my people. It shows what date I added them. And I can add a family member, like for Abigail. I can add her brother Andrew, who's not in 4-H, but since he's a citizen in St. John the Baptist Parish, he's able to come to my meetings because since it's a collaboration between 4-H and the library, it's open to all kids in the parish. So here are some actions, some options that you have with each participant, and it has me marked here. So my options are this little bubble with the plus is to just send a message just to that particular parent or student. Over here, when you click on the three little dots to extend the menu, you get the view profile, add to another class, remove from the class. You can block this person, or you can report them to Reminder, like maybe they're sending out some inappropriate messages. Okay, so I can also go here and add an owner. So if I had a co-teacher, okay, here's Mr. Brock. Mr. Brock is our 4-H agent for the 3 parishes in the river parishes, which is St. John, St. James, and St. Charles Parish. So I can add Mr. Brock as a class owner, and he can also send messages, and he has access to my class just as I have access to my class to go ahead and send messages out. So that's how the class works. Now let's talk about setting up your own class. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click Create Class. So here we have that menu that came up when I clicked Settings from my St. John 4-H and Public, St. John Parish Library Robotics Club class. So I'm going to make an example, and I'm going to I'll just do LIS. I'm going to do 651. It's one of my other classes, just as an example. They automatically generate a class code for you, but I can do @LIS 651. And I can change my class code to be something that I'm going to remember and that my students or my group mates or my fellow colleagues or my family members will remember. And then I can put not affiliated with the school, or I can drop this down and I can add a school. And it says and you have to agree that you will only message people 13 or older because of people being predators out there, as a safety kind of measure for children who may be added to a class or to a group, they have you agree to that. And if you're caught doing it, then you are in violation of the rules for using the Remind app. So I'm going to click create, and here's my new class. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm already, if I go to my people, I'm already on the list because I created the class. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to add people to your class. If you click on add people, you see it comes up student name, phone or email, secondary phone or email. You also have the option of parents and teachers. So you can click on also if you have like a spreadsheet already set up in Excel or in Google, and I tried this at work at the library like last week. I just wanted to mess around with it and see if I put my group in a list and made my my Excel or Google Sheets spreadsheet have the headings student name, phone, and then email, if it would copy over correctly. So all I had to do was highlight my cells and drop them in, and it filled it in perfectly. So I'm going to use my children as, oh Lord, I can't spell my child's name. So I'm going to use my son Cameron as my first participant, and I'm just going to make up a number, and I'm going to make up a email. Alright, so I've added one student. Now I'm going to go and add my other son. Alright, so I'm just going to do these two students for now. With your students, if they accept if they're in your class and they accept and they're 13 or older, to communicate. So in that sense, it may be better to do it as a high school, maybe 7th, 8th grade, middle school to high school kind of resource. So it's saying that this, you know what, I'm going to put my number in so that it definitely sends an email, and it might not send it. Okay, so I send an invitation. I use my phone number, so it's going to come to my phone as an invitation, and it's going to say it says invitation sent to one person. Now Prince got taken off, and until there's an acceptance from Cameron, he won't show up on my people. But once he accepts being added to the class, I'll be able to add him, and his name will show up here under people. Okay, so if I were doing a project and we were working on something and we had to collaborate, and each of us had a section to type, for example, and we needed to add the documents to the class, to the group, so that one person can pull them all down and add and compile the final paper, we can upload files, or as the teacher actually, you can add files to the file library, as I call it, and be able to add those files and send to different groups. I can only send it to this group. I can select just everyone, teachers, students, parents from the group. I can send it to my 4-H group by adding a file here, like if I was doing an event and I needed my 4-H members to come out and help assist at the program. We're doing a STEM presentation on robotics, and I want you all to come. But I also want my LIS 651 members to come as well to view the program. I can send a flyer to both groups at one time, or I can just send it to one group. Now, to send a message to everyone, you can just click here where it says message everyone in LIS 651, and you can type your message here. You do have, I'm going to show you how many characters. You actually have 140 characters that you can type in to send in your message. You can also upload a video, and here are some other options of items you can upload to the, page. So you can upload a file. You can go to your Google Drive and pull a file in. You can drag and drop items here. You can do a Quizlet if you use the Quizlet app. You can do OneDrive, stuff from OneDrive, SurveyMonkey. You can send a survey out that way. And I believe this is Digital Dropbox. But there are options on this side that you can do. Sign up would more than likely be an app to have them sign up for, say, a training or a workshop that you send a flyer about, or to have them go ahead and sign up for an assignment. If you're putting a list out for an event and I need someone to work to take tickets at the door, I need someone to work the refreshment table, and you can send that out and have your people sign up for that through there. I'm going to discard that message. And you can also join a class. So if you set up your Remind app as a parent or as a member of a group that's going to use Remind, you can click join a class and you can type in the class code, or you can search for a class here. Let's see. So I put in MATH, I just love math. And as you see, there's a lot of schools that popped up. So if I say I attend Mathis High School in Mathis, Texas, I click on that, and then I can type my teacher's name. So all of the teachers that are registered with Mathis High School and are using Remind app are on here. I can invite them to my class, or I can join their classes. And that would pop up here under my classes join. Classes owned are the classes that you create. Classes joins are classes that you have joined or requested to be added to. If I click here and I do all classes, it's going to give me all of my folks that I have in my clubs or my groups, and it's going to show my messages that I've sent, my message history for everything. So that gives me access to everything in one spot, all of my classes, all of my parents, students, teachers, colleagues, family members that I have in my group. If you go here to where your name is, you can see your account, help center. You can share Remind, which would be if you want to share the app and this resource with someone else, you can click it, and you can copy the link, share by email, share on Facebook, Twitter, or Pinterest. So if someone wants to start using the Remind app in their own capacity, they can do it that way. They can have access to it quickly that way. This is where you get the Remind app, and as you can see, it's available on Android and iPhone. You type in your number, they'll send you a link for it, and you can just download it to your phone. And let me go back to that. That's what it looks like when you pull it up on your phone. It's almost a mirror image of the desktop version. And you can log out. If I click on account, it's going to show my name. I can add a picture of myself. I can make changes to my account, change my password here. I can change my role from teacher to parent, administrator, or student. Here's data practices, which kind of goes along the lines of your internet usage policy, acceptable use kind of regulations. You can learn more by clicking here. There's certain things that you are not allowed to do on Remind, which is, goes back to that when I created that class, I had to check that I will not message someone under 13. If I'm going to send a message to that child, I need to make sure that I have their parents' permission. I also have to make sure that I have their parent in the Remind app. And the best way to do that is to message both of them if you have to. But as you get over 13, if you're sending out assignments, say a reminder to go to Edmodo and complete an assignment, or I've uploaded a quiz that you need to complete from home, or a Kahoot that you need to log into on your phone or your desktop and send the code to the Kahoot, I can send that and send those reminders to my students. This just so shows that I have push notifications set up on my iPhones. Text notifications, I can add my phone number, and if a parent reaches out to me, I can go ahead and check it on my phone. It'll come to me there. Now, I want to show you there is a back and forward communication with just the single parent. So I'm going to read this because when I was telling you that I had tried to maybe move the meeting up from 6 to 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon when the public schools were out, Rita's mother wrote me back and let me know that private schools are not on break. So they would need their meeting after school, and she's also an educator. So she was able to keep me informed of that side of it, and she's a 4-H sponsor for her school. So that this shows like just messages between myself and this parent. It shows sent. I can see my sent notifications. I can actually comment here, and as you can see, she commented with a little kind of uncertain face when she got the poll. So she was able to participate in the poll, but she just let me know with a little face that that might not work for the private school kids, and then she sent me the message to justify that. I've also had messages where parents were wondering when we're going to have meetings, and I was able to write back to her directly. Here's a PDF file that I made for one of my meetings, and the parents are able to click on it and use it as well. This is my flyer that I designed for my 4-H meeting. So I put the logos on there and everything. So I was able to send that out to my parents. And while I was showing you that, I did get an app on my phone from Remind to add Cameron to my LIS 651 class. So just to show you how it works, I'm going to go to my Remind app on my phone. Let's see what it gave me a message. And it sent me a notification. Oh, I might have got that wrong. Well, it wasn't the notification to add Cameron. It actually came to my app. So I do get notifications on my phone through the Remind app as far as my role as teacher in this particular group. So there's all type of resources here, or different ways you can customize your classes. You can turn on office hours so they know when it's okay to meet, to send you a message, or that you'll be available to respond. And I can put Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So I will not get, I can respond quickly between those hours. Anytime after that, you're going to have to wait till the next day or to the next week to get a response. So once you go here, you just log out and it takes you out. You have your little bus leaving and you're all done. So that is how you set up a class in the Remind app and desktop version.